Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Books and Rain, where we are rolling our way into the new year, hopefully with a fairly good attitude, hopefully with lots of optimism. I'm not sure. I am cautiously optimistic. Last year, 2024, was a bit of, it started off kind of rough. I feel like it ended up pretty good. I'm hoping that 2025 starts off pretty good and continues to roll that way. I feel as though that's what I'm trying to bring into my life is just a bit of optimism, a little bit of positivity, lots of books, and all that jazz. Now, I think when I looked at my Goodreads, I had read for 2024, at least according to my Goodreads reviews and ratings that I provided, I left approximately 182 reviews and ratings in Goodreads over the course of 2024. I thought that was a lot because I think I had set my original goal in Goodreads as about 65. So definitely think I met that. I don't know what my new kind of reading challenge is going to be for 2025 yet. I may set it at like 150. I want to set an attainable goal, a reachable goal. And since for this particular channel, I do tend to read about, a book every other day, I could feasibly do that. However, I also know that life happens, and so 150 books may be a good place to start. I don't know. I do know I have a lot of like just fun crafty projects I have in mind for 2025. I want to be writing more. I definitely want to continue my reading at the level that I'm doing, but I also want to do more crafts. I have this little thing over on my shelf that I was given for Christmas that I will probably build. It's this little thing called a miniature house star garden. It looks super cute and I can't wait to put it together. But that is one of the little crafty things. I got an adult paint by number that I ordered. It looks really cool, but I haven't gotten it in yet. So once I do get it in, then I will probably throw that on my desk and just get painting. I also got a new chair, which I can now sit cross-legged on, and I'm very happy about. And I think I sit a little bit higher as well, which is kind of nice. But we are not talking about all the things that happened for Christmas. We are talking about books, aren't we? Yes, we are. We are almost always talking about books. And so, with that being said, we are going to dive into All the Water in the World by Eiren Caffall. Caffall, yeah, Eiren Caffall. And now this book is expected to be released on January 7th of 2025. Has approximately 4 stars on Goodreads. I don't think, I had actually seen this book pop up a couple of places. I don't want to say it's book talk because I honestly don't have a TikTok. I know. I feel like I get overwhelmed with social media, so I have limited myself to just Instagram, and that's really about it. I don't even have Facebook on my phone or anything like that, so I just try to stick to one thing at a time, because if I've got reading going on, writing going on, other crafty things, I just think I don't need that much exposure to all the social medias. It's just me. I get overwhelmed with it really easily. So we are diving into this book, and it is one that I really enjoyed. I probably go ahead and give it like a 4.25 stars, and I hate that I'm unable to give partial stars. Like, that is just like probably my biggest pet peeve that I wish I could change. Now, I did go ahead and I think get Fable. Is that I don't remember if that's an app on my phone or not, but I think I got, yes, Fable. Fable is an app, and if I remember correctly, it had at one point imported all of my Goodreads over into Fable. So not sure if it still did that. It's building me a wrap up as we speak. So I think that's crazy. Get started. I'm all set. Let's see. Okay, skip. looking back at stories and world I explore. It's doing like a wrap up, kind of like I did with I guess with your Spotify or your YouTube music or what have you, but I don't think it updated the ones that I've done recently. I'm just kind of looking at it, and it looks as though a lot of the books did not import from the second part of the year. So just letting you guys know. But I'm going to try to use Fable a little bit more in order to also provide reviews in other places. But let us dive into All the Water in the World by Eiren Caffall. It says, in the tradition of Station 11, a literary thriller set partially on the roof of New York's Museum of Natural History in a flooded future. All the Water in the World is told in the voice of a girl gifted with a deep feeling for water. In the years after the glaciers melt, Nonie, her older sister, and her parents and their researcher friends have stayed behind in an almost deserted New York City, creating a settlement on the roof of the American Museum of Natural History. The rule: take from the exhibits only in dire need. They grow and they hunt their food in Central Park, where they work to save the collections of human history and science. When a superstorm breaches the city's flooded walls, Nonie and her family must escape north on the Hudson. They carry with them a book that holds their records of lost collections. Racing on the swollen river towards what may be safety, they encounter communities that have adapted in very different and sometimes frightening ways to the new reality. But they are determined to find a way to make a new world that honors all they've saved. So it says that it's inspired by the stories of the curators in Iraq and Leningrad who worked to protect their collections from war. All the Water in the World is both a meditation on what we saved from collapse and an adventure story, with dangers, storms, and a fight for survival. In the spirit of From the Mixed Up Files of Miss Basil E. Frankweiler and Parable of the Sower, this wild journey offers the hope that what matters most, love and work, community and knowledge, will survive. So, I thought this book was actually pretty well done. I do not know exactly why someone may have mentioned that this reminded them of All the Light We Cannot See. But that was one of my favorite books a couple years ago, was All the Light We Cannot See. And it was so incredibly well written. This one, I will say it was still very well done. It was still done in this very, I don't want to say aesthetic style because I don't feel like that's the correct word for it. But I did read Station 11 and I loved Station 11. I think I have it on my shelf out there on like one of my living room bookshelves. And I loved the way that it is a story of like survival, but it's not so much, I mean, you have these different communities of people, and in Station 11 you have like this musical kind of like almost theater troupe traveling and surviving in that way because they're able to provide like entertainment in a way. There are no more music or musical CDs and stuff like that. There are no theaters and such, so this musical traveling troupe is the entertainment that comes through the areas as they can. This one, on the other hand, is a little bit different because we don't have that sort of level of survival. It seems like it's been a few years, or quite a few years, since the, I guess, what you could call the apocalypse, since this is like post-apocalyptic almost. The world has changed, and Nonie and her family are doing pretty well surviving, except for the fact that the storms almost seem to be getting worse. There are what they call hypercanes, which are kind of like hurricanes but way worse. And these superstorms are able to just blow away buildings pretty much just incredibly easily. So what happens when they are at this American Museum of Natural History, and they kind of call it Amen, which is kind of a fun way to put it, is that they are trying to protect the knowledge of kind of history and culture. And so her dad apparently had studied a little bit of architecture, and at one point talks about like chimneys, like houses needing chimneys. And her mom had passed away due to an illness that they were really unable to not only cure but treat appropriately. And it sounds like it was something a little bit more than maybe diabetes or something, because since we are in this post-apocalyptic world, medication is much more limited. There are no, I guess what you may refer to as big pharma. There are no pharmacies really that are able to provide the life-saving medications that people really need. So they scavenge whatever they can, whatever's available. They also use books that are, some of them found in this natural history museum, that help teach them what herbs do what to help also provide a medicinal use for some of those as well. And so they're doing their best, but we don't have the pharmacological benefits that we have now. I hope I used that word right. I don't know. It sounded good at the time. But we continue with Nonie and her family after the museum has pretty much been decimated. That is the beginning of the book. I don't think it's a spoiler. Let's just say, again, this is a story of survival. Her family keeps shrinking because these storms keep taking people away from them. Even their like coworkers and the friends that they make along the way tend to dwindle one by one. And so it's Nonie and her older sister, her father, and this one other guy who are really doing their best on a boat, on a, well, it's not really a boat. It's more or less a kind of a canoe that they have been able to utilize from this natural history museum. That it seems as though this canoe may have been either a replica or may have been something that one of the previous civilizations, maybe of Native American tribes, possibly had used, millennia in the past, and now this canoe is coming to use again. So it is, again, it's very good. Nonie herself has this connection with water in almost a slightly magical realism sort of way. I don't know if she can like tell barometric pressure somewhere in her body or what, but she seems to know before a storm starts that a storm is coming, and then to what level of intensity that storm will be when it comes. And so it's really quite a good story. Very interesting, very enjoyable read, pretty emotional as well, because they have to travel north in order to try to survive, and they are trying to reach a place that was her mom and her mom's sisters, like her aunt's place, when they were kids, it sounds like. So it's a place that they are aiming for to try to get to, and that's kind of where the journey is taking them. It sounds like it's probably like somewhere in Canada, somewhere safe from the waters that seem to be rising higher and higher because of these hypercanes, because of these superstorms. But I really enjoyed it. As someone else says, another Rachel, the shades of orange in parentheses, she says she has a fascination with climate fiction, and this book was right up her alley. And I kind of agree as well. There is something that is fascinating about climate fiction, and I want to say some of my interest in that came from the movie Day After Tomorrow with like Jake Gyllenhaal. Now that's probably like not quite the best example for this book, but that book or that movie was in my personal opinion, was pretty good. Now, if I go back and watch it now, I probably would have different opinions, but my brain says, hey, we really liked this movie when we saw it. And that's part of the vibe that I feel from this as well. So if you kind of like that climate-based fiction, this may be up your alley to try to dive into and just see how people survive after what seems to be the worst things happen and how we keep moving forward. But I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I want to thank you for coming back and watching my videos. I hope you guys have a fantastic new year. I kind of drew a blank on what I was about to say a second ago. So until next time, I hope I will see you on the next page. and we will continue into 2025 talking about books probably every other day, just about as frequently as we are now, and hopefully with lots of new books to add to your TBRs. But if not, that's okay. Y'all can leave a comment down below letting me know what you do want to hear about, and then I can always go either find some more in those similar veins, or I can go read the books that y'all seem to like, and then I can just provide my thoughts and commentary on those as well. So you guys let me know. Also, if you don't mind being on the lookout for the podcast Books Are Magical, I am about to bring that back, so it's probably just going to be me for a little while. They are going to be about 30-minute episodes of just me talking about more books. Now, this on this channel is a bit more like shorter reviews. On the other podcast, I do plan on diving into some questions I find, some book club thoughts as well, and diving into a little more research for the particular books and stories. I may also look for a few that are more mainstream or that have been kind of popular, and we'll go from there. We'll see how it goes. So you guys let me know what maybe I should talk about on the podcast as well, and I will see you all on the next page. I hope you have a great one.